So one of my contributors was out shooting footage for the channel, and he's talking to two girls and everything's going normal, everything's fine, when out of the blue, a woman in her mid-50s just comes up to them and interrupts the interview. I'm gonna play you the footage from that exchange. Check it out.
So hypergamy is the innate biological drive to secure the highest value mate that they can. The theory goes that a lot of female behavior, such as cheating or simply breaking up with a man when a better option presents itself.
Can I ask you a question? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm interviewing these ladies here. What are you up to?
With?
My name is. What's your name?
I was just asking, who are you with? Why are you conducting this?
Yeah, it's for a YouTube channel. It's like kind of an educational documentary style YouTube channel.
Don't they have to sign something for you to be able to take their picture?
Yeah, I've got the release form. Do you want to participate too?
No, I don't. I just think that they probably should sign something before.
Yeah, thanks for your concern. I do have the release form. They're willingly participating. They seem like they're maybe 18 and above and adults capable of making their own decisions.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, just watching out.
That woman can go and get fucked. I'm gonna split this video into two parts. In the first part, I'm going to explain in detail why what she did was so wrong. In the second part, I'm going to explain the specific techniques that the interviewer used in order to diffuse the situation, because it was genius. He did so well. So to start off, let's just admit my bias, because I am not at all objective in this situation. It's personal for me because the footage was being shot for my video. I wrote the questions that were being asked, and I also feel that desire to stand up for my brother because this particular contributor I've been working with for about a year, and I guarantee he's the nicest, most respectful guy that you'll ever meet. So when this woman just interrupts him out of nowhere and begins to demand answers to questions, all based on assumptions that she's made about him and his character and his motives, that makes me angry. I think that she was completely unjustified in behaving the way that she did, and so hey, there's my bias. I'm not going to pretend to be remotely objective on this one. Watching that footage, that makes me angry. I'm going to explain why, but just as a quick side note, can I say that I am sick of men being shamed for their anger? Anger is an emotion like any other. It's completely normal. And when you see injustice around you, anger is a perfectly natural and healthy response. Now, I understand that I'm a man and some people are frightened by male anger, but just because male anger scares you doesn't mean that I'm going to repress my natural emotions for the sake of your comfort. So this is your warning. I feel angry, I don't feel ashamed about my anger, and if you don't want to see an angry man talking, click out of this video now. Okay, so let's start this thing. Who is she to just walk up to somebody and begin a confrontation? Whenever I approach women for an interview, I am kind, polite, and respectful because that's the appropriate way to speak to somebody you've never met before. She comes in with no introduction, no excuse me, no sorry for the interruption. She starts this interaction by asking, what are you doing? Why is it your business? Who granted you the authority to walk around questioning people about their activities? Where do you get off demanding that people explain themselves and justify themselves to you? Now, it's obvious to me why she felt justified interrupting an interview in progress, demanding an explanation, beginning a confrontation, interrogating him with that accusatory tone. It's because he's a man. That's it. If this was a woman that was conducting this interview, she wouldn't have said anything. The fact that she feels entitled to just walk up to him and demand explanations and justifications is very revealing of what her mindset is. A lot of the exchange that you just watched was centered around her insistence that if he was going to film these girls, he would need to obtain some kind of written permission. Why on earth would she assume that he didn't have that permission? Not only did she have that assumption, but she was so convinced that he's some sleazeball out to exploit women that she felt comfortable and entitled to just walk up to him and start interrogating him. Now, of course, he did have the release forms and the girls agreed to be interviewed. Just so everybody's clear, all of the women that feature on this channel have consented to be filmed. At the conclusion of the interview, women sign a legal release form allowing us to use the footage. At that stage, the woman knows what the questions were, she knows what her answers were, and she signs the release form because she's happy for us to put it online. I have never and would never use footage of women unless I had their consent to do so. But that's what really annoys me about this exchange, this odious display of moralistic superiority, this white knighting, this we've got to save the innocent women from the big bad man who's talking to them. This kind of virtue signaling really disgusts me. The interviewer did nothing wrong. The woman who interrupted him was in the wrong. She was rude, confrontational, and frankly sexist. Assuming negative intent on him was sexist because she was acting on assumptions that she's made about him simply because he's a man. That part's bad enough, but her behavior was also sexist towards the women. Does she not believe that these women were capable of standing up for themselves? Does she think that all women are these helpless damsels in distress and it's her job to go up and save them? There is nothing positive I find about her behavior. Absolutely nothing. Her intention was to make him feel bad, to make the interviewer feel like he was doing something wrong. She probably thought, he's a man, he's an easy target. Men are guilty just for being men. I can go up to him and accuse him of whatever I want, and because I'm a woman and he's a man, it's his job to justify himself to me. Men are guilty until I decide that they're innocent. Her actions were disgraceful, and I think that she should be ashamed of herself. I gave you fair warning to click out of this video. Like I said, I'm angry. But there is a positive in all of this, because as terrible as her behavior was, I think that the interviewer conducted himself impeccably. The way that he handled it was brilliant. As tempting as it would have been to just shut this woman down and tell her to go and mind her own business, you could tell from her tone that she was spoiling for a fight. That's what she wanted. His reaction is a masterclass in how to deal with obnoxious people, and I'm going to break it down now. Let's analyze the first part of the interaction. Let's go back to the beginning.
With a man when a better option presents itself.
Can I ask you a question? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm interviewing these ladies here. What are you up to?
With?
Okay, she isn't asking some innocent question out of pure curiosity. Her tone is extremely accusatory. The subtext is, you're doing something wrong. Explain yourself. However, he just ignores the tone and he answers the question literally. She asks, what's he doing? And he answers, I'm interviewing these women here. Clearly, she was expecting a different reaction because she goes silent for a bit. She probably thought that he would jump, look guilty and nervous as though he's been caught doing something he shouldn't be doing. That's her frame. That's how she sees the situation. He is doing something wrong. He's the guilty party and he has been caught. But he doesn't play into her frame. He's polite, he's respectful, and he answers her question. But, and this is the important part, he gives no validation to her reality. Her frame that he's doing something wrong is completely rejected. His tone is calm, it's polite, and he speaks like somebody who has nothing to hide. He even asks her how she's doing, as though there is no confrontation going on, just two people innocently asking each other what they're up to. It's classic. So what does she do from here? She doubles down. She changes, what are you doing, to who are you with? And this is how he responds.
What are you up to? My name is... What's your name?
Genius response, okay? Absolute genius. This achieves two things. One, it kind of answers her question, which has the effect of pacifying her. She asks, who are you with? And he responds with, my name is, blank. But it's also a subtle rebuke of her. He says, my name is blank, what's your name? That is the correct way to start talking with somebody. It is polite to introduce yourself. But you see, she didn't do that. She just came in guns blazing with her interrogation. By introducing himself and politely asking what her name is, the message is clear. I'm a polite, reasonable person doing what you should have done. Introducing myself, treating me with courtesy and respect. Anyway, she just repeats her question.
I was just asking, who are you with? Why are you conducting this?
Yeah, it's for a YouTube channel. It's like kind of an educational documentary style YouTube channel.
Don't they have to sign something for you to be able to take their picture?
Yeah, I've got the release form. Do you want to participate too?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I just think that they probably should sign something before.
He stays calm and answers her questions. It's easy for him to do because he has nothing to hide. What's this for? It's for a YouTube channel. Don't they have to sign release forms? Yep, I've got them here. That last part is the funniest part of the whole exchange. He asks her if she wants to participate. It seems like an innocent, polite request, but it is actually a complete, unconditional rejection of her frame. You see, she wants to play the hero in a story that she's written, in a story that she's constructed. That's her narrative. Her narrative is that he's a bad guy exploiting some damsel in distress. But in order for her to have her fun and to go on her little ego trip and play the hero, she needs him to play along. She needs him to acknowledge that he's the bad guy, but he won't do it. He doesn't give her that frame. He doesn't give any validation to her story. He doesn't give a single inch of legitimacy to the way that she's portraying this situation. In fact, from his frame, what he's doing is so acceptable, and there's nothing wrong with what he's doing, that he couldn't even understand that somebody could have a different perspective, so much so that he actually asks her if she wants to participate. She then repeats her thing about the release form, even though he's already answered it, but by this point, she's completely exposed herself as just a nosy virtue signaler. She has this transparent agenda of shaming him and his actions because he's a male, and he handled her so perfectly that she's lost steam. She's embarrassed herself, and now it's time to let her know that she can go on her way, that she is not needed in this situation.
Yeah, thanks for your concern. I do have the release form. They're willingly participating. They seem like they're maybe 18 and above and adults capable of making their own decisions.
I love this part. They're adults capable of making their own decision. I mean, on the one hand, it seems as though he's justifying himself to her, but at a deeper level, he's rebuking her. By saying that they're adults capable of making their own decisions, he's actually calling out her sexism. He respects their ability to make up their own minds, he trusts their autonomy, and by implication, she clearly didn't. In his explanation, you can hear the subtext, you can hear the question that's truly being asked. Why did you assume that they haven't consented to this? What does that reveal about you and your beliefs? After that, we've just got the last part where she slinks away, and there's really nothing more that needs to be said.
Thanks.
Yeah, just watching out.
Listen to the end though, because after she says, just watching out, which is a ridiculous thing to say, she's a ridiculous person, but I think that you can hear one of the girls let out a laugh. Just see if you can hear it.
Yeah, just watching out.
I don't know if you picked up on that, but to me, it sounded like laughter. I mean, what she said was so ridiculous that it is laughable. That's what it is. It's laughable. So there you have it. That is the masterclass in how to deal with obnoxious people. Like I said, I'm not even going to pretend to be objective on this one. I'm clearly biased, and this exchange made me angry. It reminds me of the time that I was escorted away by security guards when I was the victim of some woman who wanted to shame me and keep me silent. Of course, the joke is on her because I published the video, and that video now has over 500,000 views. So to all of the obnoxious white knights out there, man or woman, I don't care. Your days of treating men like villains just so you can have the fun of pretending to be a hero are coming to an end. There is somebody acting shamefully in these interactions, and it's you. And it's only a matter of time before everybody sees it.